The annals of English history are replete with tales of powerful monarchs, yet few periods illustrate the precarious balance of royal authority as vividly as the reigns of Richard the Lionheart and his brother King John. Their contrasting leadership styles profoundly shaped the trajectory of England, laying foundations for future constitutional struggles. Our journey begins not in a grand palace, but on a quiet meadow by the Thames, Runnymede. Here, in 1215, a king was forced to concede that even he was not above the law. This pivotal moment established a central theme: the inherent limitations on royal power. The roots of this extraordinary rebellion can be traced directly to King John's catastrophic failures. However, to fully understand John's predicament, we must first examine the complex legacy left by his legendary predecessor, Richard I. Richard I, known to history as the Lionheart, ascended to the English throne in 1189. Yet in his 10-year reign, he spent a mere 6 months within the borders of England. His true passion lay far beyond its shores. Richard's enduring legend was forged not in domestic governance, but through his exploits in the Third Crusade. He embodied the chivalric ideal, a warrior king whose reputation echoed across continents. His military prowess was undeniable, marked by significant victories such as the capture of Acre. This strategic port city fell to his forces, demonstrating his formidable leadership on the battlefield. Despite these triumphs, the Third Crusade had its limitations. Richard ultimately failed to recapture Jerusalem, a primary objective. His return journey was fraught with peril, leading to his capture and subsequent imprisonment in Austria. The ransom demanded for his release was immense, placing an enormous financial burden on England. Richard's focus on foreign adventures while creating a heroic image left his kingdom vulnerable and financially strained. Remarkably, England continued to function in Richard's prolonged absence. This was largely due to the sophisticated and efficient administrative system established by his father, Henry II. This robust bureaucracy ensured the machinery of government kept turning, even without a king physically present. In stark contrast to his celebrated brother, John's reign, beginning in 1199, was largely disastrous. His early years were marked by a series of catastrophic losses, most notably the ancestral lands of Normandy. A key turning point in John's decline was the mysterious disappearance of his nephew, Arthur of Brittany. Arthur, a rival claimant to the throne, vanished while in John's custody, fueling suspicions and damaging the king's reputation. The fall of Chateau Gaillard in 1204, a formidable fortress built by Richard, symbolized John's military ineptitude. Its loss paved the way for the subsequent and irreversible loss of vast continental territories. John's military campaigns were often characterized by indecision and a tendency to negotiate rather than engage in decisive battle. This earned him the derisive nickname Soft Sword among his contemporaries. He was widely perceived as ill-equipped to handle the immense challenges of his time. His personal failings and strategic blunders alienated many, setting the stage for profound discontent within his kingdom. Following the loss of Normandy, John embarked on desperate measures to recover his lost territories. These efforts, primarily funded through exorbitant taxation, further fueled widespread discontent among his subjects. His reign was also marked by a bitter conflict with Pope Innocent III. This dispute over the appointment of the Archbishop of Canterbury resulted in a papal interdict on England, suspending all church services. The interdict was a severe blow to John's authority and deeply unsettling for the populace. It demonstrated the king's willingness to defy spiritual authority, further isolating him. A major catalyst for baronial discontent was the disastrous Battle of Bouvines in 1214. John's forces, allied with the Holy Roman Emperor, suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of King Philip II of France. This military humiliation shattered any remaining hope of recovering his continental possessions. Numerous grievances against John accumulated over his reign. His subjects chafed under the burden of excessive taxation, levied repeatedly to fund his failed military campaigns. Other grievances included arbitrary justice, where the king's will often superseded established legal custom. Violations of feudal custom, such as demanding scutage without proper justification, further eroded trust. These accumulated factors, from military defeat to financial exploitation and disregard for law, ultimately coalesced into a powerful baronial rebellion. The barons, weary of John's misrule, demanded fundamental changes. The confrontation at Runnymede in June 1215 represented a truly revolutionary moment in English history. For the first time, a reigning monarch was compelled to accept written limitations on his power. Magna Carta, or the Great Charter, contained numerous clauses addressing the barons' grievances. Key among these was Clause 39, which declared that no free man could be imprisoned or dispossessed except by the lawful judgment of his peers or by the law of the land. This single clause laid the foundational principles for concepts that would later become cornerstones of Western legal systems, such as habeas corpus and due process. It asserted the right to a fair trial and protection from arbitrary royal power. However, Magna Carta was not a permanent solution upon its initial signing. King John, feeling coerced, almost immediately attempted to repudiate the charter, appealing to the Pope for annulment. Despite John's efforts to nullify it, Magna Carta's lasting impact was profound. It established the groundbreaking principle that even the king was subject to the law, not above it. This was a radical departure from absolute monarchical claims. John's death in October 1216, amidst the First Barons' War, changed the political landscape. His young son, Henry III, ascended the throne, and the Regency Council wisely chose to reissue Magna Carta. This reissuance and subsequent confirmations solidified its place as a cornerstone of English constitutionalism. It became a symbol of legal rights and a check on royal authority, influencing future generations. The reigns of Richard and John, though vastly different, collectively forged a new path for English governance. Henry II's sophisticated administrative systems, ironically, played a crucial role. They made royal abuse visible and measurable, providing a framework against which constitutional opposition could be mounted. Furthermore, the loss of Normandy under John had an unforeseen consequence. It fostered a more cohesively English aristocracy, whose interests became increasingly distinct from the continental ambitions of the crown. This unified baronial class was better positioned to challenge royal prerogatives. Ultimately, King John's failures transformed theoretical limits on royal power into concrete, written constitutional principles. Magna Carta, born from his disastrous reign, set the stage for the ongoing struggle to define and enforce these limits. This enduring legacy continues to resonate in legal and political systems worldwide,